But Jesus has an idea for each of us, and He's got a plan that you may not think is what you want to do, but it's going to fill the desires of your heart, because, see, God made us. Before I was saved, I tried to fill my life up with every single thing. I listened to every single song that was played on the radio on certain stations. I would just listen to them night and day, all the time. I'd fall asleep with headphones on. This was my teenage life. You know, I went to church. My parents took me to a church, and it was a pretty good church, and my parents were good. They brought me up in the right way. I read what was in the Bible. I even went forward in the church and said, yes, I believe. But there was a reality that was missing in my life, because, see, I had no idea what sin was about, really. Growing up, I didn't know that people could be bound in their sin, because I had a sheltered life. You know, I kind of saw in the church that some people sort of lived a different way outside the church, but I didn't really know them very well outside of church. Only a little bit that I know some people in that church, but, you know, as I grew up, I just thought, you know, this is no big deal. I got it on I got this. I got this. No problem. I went on to live my life the way I wanted to live it, and it seemed to me that I did okay for a little while. I began to drink, smoke pot, sleep around, just have fun, did things that everybody else was doing, it seemed like to me. And so I thought, well, you know, I got on him a little bit more in years, and I got married, and then I couldn't really make a marriage work. It took only a matter of months, and I realized, you know, there's something wrong here. So we parted our ways, and I thought, okay, well, you know, it's just bad matchup, right? You know, we just couldn't get along. There's always some things that, you know, on that show Courageous, kids like, well, you know, some people just can't get along. You know, you just got to part your ways and do your own thing. And that's kind of what I felt at that time. I went on, got married again, and around the same thing. It seemed like the same problems. I was like, what is going on? And my sin still had me bound. My selfishness, all the things that I wanted, my desires. But thank God, Jesus Christ had a different idea. When I got saved, I told God, you know what? I've given it all to you. I don't care about any of this stuff anymore. All my music, all my everything, whatever it is, Lord, you can have it. I no longer listen to the same music. Most of the music I listened to was no big deal. It was not like a big, you know, demonic, satanic stuff or anything like that. Some of it had suggestive words and things like that, but, you know, I didn't listen to those radio stations anymore. In fact, I had always had like the really good stereo and the really good car stereo and all these things, and you know, at the time when I got saved, for some reason those things broke in my life. I mean, it just literally, I mean, physically they broke. They fell apart. You know, I don't know what it was, but God made them fall apart, and I thought, man, I'm going to get me a new stereo. And then I thought, wait a minute, maybe God wants something from me here. And so I said, all right, whatever you want, God. And from that point, only thing I get on my stereo on my car was like AM radio stations, and a couple of Christian preaching stations was all I really could get. And I just listened to preaching for a long time. And God took away the desires that I had previously and put in new desires in my heart. And those desires were desires for things that God had, desires for God. And He would fill my heart, fill my life. The things of this world won't fill you up, young folks. You can chase after it all you want. You can walk out of the church, walk away from what your parents have given you and have laid down as a good foundation for you, and walk out there into that world and experience it all. Just like these people who walk up and down to these casinos and back and forth to get their beer all the time. They're doing what they want to do. But it's short. It's quick. And it's a merry-go-round. And it leads nowhere. There's no purpose. There's no destiny. But God has a destiny for you. He has a plan for good things for your future. And after this world, you step out into eternity, He's got a plan for you in all of eternity. What a glorious thing that God has done for each of us. I thank God for my salvation.